Bonn University at Germany, and he got a PhD from there. After he got a postdoctoral position at the RTA, I think that he's going to present some of his work there. Thank you. You can start now.
Thank you very much, Dr. Hamid. First of all, maybe the topic of my talk today is not related to genetic or genomics or molecular breeding, just only related to climate change, which are now living in climate change. Especially, Egypt has now a global conference about the COP27, which is located in Sharm el-Sheikh nowadays. Okay. The topic of this paper was published in Agronomy journals with the predictive study of the redistribution of some breed weeds genotypes in response to climate change in Egypt. I would like you to, I will go through some introduction about climate change and wheat crop. Then I will go through our objectives in this paper, and then materials and which we have used, then result and discussion, and conclusion and recommendation of that our genotypes. Of course, the global warming and climate change is a global constraint that affects many countries in the world. Egypt is one of the world that ordinarily classified as semi-arid climate, with very little rainfall and combined with hot and dry summer and with moderate winter. The temperature in the last summer, as we have felt last summer, was exceeded more than 45 degrees in Asyut, while it reached 41 degrees in April during the grain filling in wheat. And we all we know the thermal heat stress which affect grain filling and maybe cause a reduction in grain yield per wheat. Stronger warming has been documented over the past 30 years. This report was by UNICEF last month, 30th of October. They announced that the last 30 years in Egypt, the degrees has increased by 0.53 degrees per decade. That means in the last 30 years in Egypt, that the degrees of temperature increased about 1.5 degrees or more. Egypt, for rains, has rare and irregular rains. Rainfall, especially in the north of Egypt, in winter season. And only we have rains in winter season, which starts from October and ends in April. All of us know that wheat plays a crucial role in food security in Egypt, as well as many other countries. Egypt produces approximately about 8.9 million metric tons of wheat, which represented about 40% of local consumption, and we import the other percentage from Ukraine, from Russia and other countries. Egypt is being one of the largest wheat importers in the world. Then, under the current conditions in Egypt, wheat yield reduction will reach 12% with each 1.5 degrees. Each increase in temperature in the summer or in April will reduce grain yield of wheat by 12%. This decrease may reach more than 27% with increase in temperature by increasing temperature 3.53 degrees. So, under climate change in Egypt, which we have last summer, we felt that the temperature was very high. So, our objective to study a model of historical data for the period between 1950 and 2014. We call this period the past period, and the future period from now up to the end of this century. Okay, from 2015 up to the end of 2099, based on rainfall and temperature parameters. Also, to understand the spatial and temporal climatic variability and their link with agricultural activities in Egypt, especially in Asyut as the experimental site, identify the most tolerant wheat cultivars to terminal drought and heat stress. Also, to create a precise distribution of different commercial wheat cultivars on the Egyptian map in view of climate change. For the material and density climatic analysis, at aerial time, the Housing Building Research Institute or Center in Cairo divided the country at aerial time into 8 regions, 8 zones. They consider that Eastern Desert and Western Desert as one location or one zone. But in our study, we divided the whole whole area of Egypt into 9 zones or locations. Here in the Mediterranean Sea coast, Delta and Cairo, Alta Plano, Egypt, Sinai, northern Upper Egypt, and southern Upper Egypt, Red Sea coast, and Western Desert, southern Egypt, and Eastern Desert. We used the high resolution map intercomparison model experiments. This model, this software or this experiment has already performed in Japan by simulation software using atmospheric general circulation model. We collected data from the past period, which is from 1950 up to 2014. Okay, about more than 150 years of data included in this model to compare the past temperature and rainfall percentage in the past and what we expect in the future up to the end of this century. All of us know that this model or this scenario for global warming is related to gas emissions, which is called RCP 8.5. Actually, there are many scenarios for the global warming, but the most acceptable scenario from the scientists is RCP 8.5. So, the degrees of temperature, the average degree of temperature per month, and the rainfall percentages for each month were calculated or were calculated by using this software ArcGIS. These softwares are the geologists also use these softwares to compare degrees of temperature and rainfall percentages over the world. For the plant materials which we used about 23 Egyptian breed wheel cultivars. These cultivars is the most popular and famous cultivars in Egypt, and these cultivars were evaluated under 2 irrigation levels using a drip irrigation system at Semit's company from during 2 successive seasons, 2018 and 2019, up to 2019-2020. Maybe you can consider we have 2 distinct experiments, one for climate analysis and the other one for drought analysis. The experiment was laid out in a randomized complete block design in a strip plot arrangement with 3 replications. The control represents 100% of the water requirement of reclaimed desert. We used about 6,590 quadratic meters of per hectare from water in the first season, and the second season we used about 5,244 quadratic meters from water to represent control for normal conditions in need. We calculated the amount of water requirement by using the software Prof. Also, drought was represented by 70% from the control, and we calculated the amount of water requirement in drought stress conditions. For scientific and scientific evaluation and data analysis, we measured these agronomic traits: plant height and spike length, number of grains per spike, seed index, biological yield per square meter, and grain yield per square meter. Also, we use the different mathematical formulas for tolerance and particular indexes for green yield were also calculated. Separate and combined analysis of variances were performed, and works by hierarchical cluster analysis was also performed. For the most important reason which we have obtained for climate change, first of all, we will talk about rainfall. Rainfall, the average, if we compare the rainfall in the future, if we compare in the past during the period 1950 up to 2014, we will have an increase in rainfall as an average about 16.85 increase in rainfall in Egypt. In the future, we classified the future about 85 years into 3 periods. The first period from 2015 up to 2050. The increase in water and rainfall will be 13.6 percentage. From the period 2051 up to 2075, the rainfall will decrease again, but actually we have increased, but it's not like in the first period. The increase here in rainfall will be 5.5 percentage. The most important period which will have more rains in Egypt will be 276 and 2099. We will have rains about 33.4 percentage increase. This is the average of increasing rainfall in Egypt during the future period. For the location which I have already mentioned before, we have 9 locations of 9 zones. All zones differ in rainfall in the future, but the most important result here in the Mediterranean Sea coast will have hot and dry summer in this area, and we will not have much rains in this area. But the most area which will have rains is southern Egypt by increasing in rains about 87% increasing in Egypt, followed by eastern desert by increasing rains by 59%. Richard, because of climate change and global warming, we expect by this study to an increasing in the temperature in summer, especially in summer, by 12.6% increase. About 4 degrees will be increased in summer than other, if we compare in the at present time and in the past period in 1950 and to 2014. Also, we classified the future period into 3 periods from 2015 up to 2050. The temperature will increase about 5%, 7.9 percentage, followed by the period 2051 up to 2075. The temperature will increase by percentage 13.6. Okay, the most important period is 2026 up to 2099. The temperature will increase about 18.5 percentage. Okay, so if we compare the rains and the temperature, the most important period here is between 2026 up to 2099. We will have more rains and more temperature in the south. For also zones which we have mentioned before, I think the temperature is not significant differences among the zones, but the most important zone here is Altiplano of Egypt, which will have 15.1 percentage increase in the temperature, okay, followed by Delta and Cairo. So we can see that the Delta or the north of Egypt will have a high temperature, but dry summer or reduction in rainfall. Okay, the most important also southern Egypt here will have less temperature, about 11.8 increase in temperature. Okay, so we have now finished from the first experiment, climate analysis. We'll go to the second one. We have found significant differences among the 23 wheat cultivars for tolerance to drought. We make cluster analysis for stress susceptible index, and we found that the most important cultivars that tolerant to drought were Giza 160, Giza 961, Giza 171, Saha 94. These genotypes can be grown under drought stress and can be tolerant, and they give us a high yield under drought conditions. So we can recommend these genotypes or cultivars to grow in dry or the area which has already less rainfall and high temperature as well. Okay. Followed by these genotypes, Giza 11 and 64, Giza 164 and Saha 98. They are drought tolerant cultivars, but the other cultivars is between moderate to drought tolerance and sensitive to drought tolerance. Okay. So at present time, the four zones, Altiplano Egypt and Delta and Cairo, Mediterranean Sea coast, the Red Sea coast, which have already rainfall between 3.8 up to 12 millimeter per year, and the average high temperature is between 21 and 24.7 Celsius degrees. Okay. We recommend these genotypes with cultivars to grow under these conditions in these zones. Giza 11, Giza 12, Giza 106, Mas 1, Sahel 1, Saha 93, and up to 12. The moderate zones like Eastern Desert and Northern Upper Egypt, which have rainfall ranging between 2 up to 5.6 millimeter per year, average high temperature between 28 up to 98.8 degrees. We recommend Giza 9, Giza 11, Giza 106, Giza 164, and Sahel up to 12 to grow or to sowing these cultivars in Eastern Desert and Northern Upper Egypt. Southern Egypt and the Southern Upper Egypt, Western Desert, which has already less rainfall, between 0 up to 0.2 millimeter rainfall per year, and has already high temperature in the summer, which begins from April, which average high temperature between 30.5 up to 33.8 Celsius degrees. By our study, these cultivars which are already drought tolerant, Giza 9, Giza 11, Giza 106, Giza 164, Giza 171, up to 64. So this is our recommendation for our zones and zone in Egypt. Thank you very much.
Session. Yes. I would like to thank Mohamed for taking care of this very important project about
how using different scenarios. Egypt, but actually, I had a suggestion that for the use of zones that the northwestern coastal zone should be very good. Now, this area having it's a completely different area. It has its own climate characteristics. It's an area that is depends mainly on rainfall. And the rainfall agriculture vaccine. But if you look to the rest of those, it's just like some sort of oasis that is only using groundwater as only source of water. So I was suggesting just to separate this area from the western world. The second issue that when I read the title, I thought maybe there is a modeling part in this research because you know that most of the time when we try to this climate change scenarios in Russia, we usually go with the model, with the crop growth model. So we just run with different climate scenarios, increasing rainfall, increasing or decreasing temperature, and we look at the results and see if there is any change in the results of the I was expecting that, but I didn't find this part of the.
Thank you very much, Dr. Ashraf. I agree with you. And of course, more stats are required for especially for this topic, climate change. And I know very well all zones are different. Rainfall, degrees of the temperature, soil texture, for example, and we applied to have a cooperation with, for example, the Desert Research Center to fight our study for more zones, especially in Matruh, in Dushka, in the southern Egypt, in Sinai, for example, in Ras Sit. So if we evaluated our culture in this area, I think we can tolerate our result with agroecological data. I know this is more related to geologists more than us in Europe. Yeah. Thank you very much.
What we keep now, we have